My parents strike again with another awesome game. But instead of having an infinite runner about coffee cups, we have an infinite faller, I guess would be the terminology for it. You play this as adorable little panda named Pandora, and you jump from cloud to cloud, and don't hit the sad clouds because they'll kill you. It's quite the awesome game, and I suggest you check it out. But without further ado, we have two cheerful girls from colorful shooters to watch fight to the death.
One got knocked down, he won't get up again. The other went knocked him down. One got knocked down, and now he's fucking dead. The other went knocked him out. Combo breaker!
The shooter. What a great video game genre. Where, I mean, think about it. You and your buddies, with your boots on the ground, run through a gritty, realistic area and tear through your opponents with hot lead and cold steel knives. I mean, that is, unless you want to have a bit more fun and color with it. Just like me. Then you turn to a game more like Splatoon or Overwatch. So, of course, let's see which colorful shooter's main girl would win in a fight to the death. I'm, of course, talking about Lena Oxton, aka Tracer, and the Inkling girl, the queen of turf wars. Hey, look, what a surprise! Overwatch is back on my show. Ugh, God, this is like, what, the 12th fight they've had? Oy. But man, I love this game so much, and honestly, while she isn't my favorite hero, I love her personality, and just altogether her happy-go-luckiness, and she's actually really fun to play. So I mean, yeah, before I get sidetracked into my top 10 waifu list again, let's go ahead and talk about Tracer's powers and abilities. She can manipulate her own flow of time for short-range teleportation called blinking. This basically allows her to well, not necessarily teleport, but move forward in her own flow of time, moving her forward or left, right, any direction really. And if she ever gets a deep shit or gets severely hurt, she can use her recall ability to go back in time 15 seconds to where she was and the condition she was in 15 seconds ago. Which is a very useful ability if you fuck up a lot, like I do playing Tracer. So many flashbacks about learning how to play Tracer. However, overuse of these abilities will leave her in a recharge state, where she can't use her abilities or even shoot her guns, which is an incredibly unfortunate place to be. On the topic of her weapons, though, she carries two pulse pistols basically useful for filling her foes with energy shots in quick succession, but they do severely suck at close range or at far range combat. But if Tracer needs to end her foe in a hurry, she has her pulse bomb. Basically, she throws this and it sticks to a foe. Then when it explodes, it does a shit ton of damage, typically ending the foe's life. Now, Tracer is pretty ridiculous. Her pulse rounds are capable of hurting Reaper, who is able to survive the destruction of the Overwatch HQ, and she's physically harmed Widowmaker in a fistfight before. Now keep in mind that Widowmaker was able to take a hit from an old busted Doomfist gauntlet that covered a huge museum room. Now Tracer isn't the best when it comes to durability, but she has survived a few shots from Overwatch characters like Reaper and Widowmaker, whose guns could incapacitate Winston, who could match Doomfist pretty evenly, might I add. Now, while she can't survive many of these shots, she will need to recall to heal herself after just a few. It's not exactly the most impressive. However, she was able to take on Widowmaker physically and did decent in combat. But, you know, her lack of durability is why she's gotten so good at dodging. Now, Tracer is a trained soldier and capable of amazing things, including fighting Reaper and Widowmaker at the same time, both of which are highly trained terrorists and assassins. But don't take her skills for flawlessness. She's overly happy and playful with her opponents, and her chrono accelerator, if it's ever to be damaged or destroyed, she'd pretty much fade from existence and die. Well, she wouldn't be dead necessarily, but she'd fade from existence temporarily. Oh, Splatoon! I played the fuck out of this game at first, and, you know, now that the Inklings and Smash Brothers, and she just looks OP in hell, and God, when I get a Switch, I'm totally playing Splatoon 2. It's gonna suck me right back in, isn't it? Oy. So, the Inkling girl, while adorable, is actually quite deadly. But before we talk about her arsenal, we need to talk about her special and natural powers for her species. The Inklings are made of ink, and they have two forms. The kid form, where they look like adorable squid people, and their squid form, where they can hide in their own ink and refill their ammo. They can also heal while in their ink and jump very long distances, as well as climb walls covered in their own ink and move incredibly fast, only through their ink. When in squid form, they are incredibly vulnerable and slow while not in their ink. Now it's weapons time. The Inklings carry multiple special ink weapons that they use to destroy their foes. They have their standard splatter shot, which is basically a far-range machine gun to fire at your opponents. They have a huge ink roller that they use to pretty much steamroll their opponents or swing to launch short-range blasts of ink. She also has the Charger, which is a high-powered sniper rifle that fires ink, and the Slosh Bucket, and even an ink minigun. Yeah. They also have dual-wield full-auto ink guns, as well as an ink shield and a giant paintbrush they can use like a sword. Now, they also have ink bombs, ink airstrikes, the killer whale, which uses huge sound waves to destroy foes, and even a tracking ink bomb. And there is also a device that slows down opponents temporarily, but this does use a lot of ink to use. They also have the Kraken, which is a transformation for the squid form that allows them to bulldoze through enemies. Now, while they do use ink for their guns, the Inkling girl is actually incredibly strong, as her gun can shatter wooden crates, splat other Inklings and Octolings, and even destroy large metal bosses, as well as redirect steel rocket fists. Yeah, it's quite the impressive thing for ink. As for their speed, well, they are fast enough to react to their own ink-based weapons and even explosions, and while in their squid form, they can jump incredibly large distances. When it comes to durability, though, they can survive hits from their own weapons, as I mentioned. Those weapons could redirect rocket fists, shatter crates, and destroy giant metal bosses. They're incredibly impressive weapons, and the fact that they can survive a few shots from them is very impressive. When it comes to intelligence, though, they're pretty much masters of combat, as they spend all their times in battles against each other's and Octoling, as, just giving them shit tons of experience, really. But the Inkling girl isn't perfect. Inklings, they're weak to water and outside ink colors, and they're incredibly vulnerable while in their squid form if they are not in their own ink color. Also, they do have limited amounts of ink and will have to reload constantly, and certain devices and abilities consume a shit ton of ink. Alright, our combatants are set. Let's see which cheerful chick from a colorful shooter comes out on top in a fight to the death. Tracer is walking through Splat City along the rooftops when a triangle-shaped ink bomb flies towards her. Tracer blinks backward, dodging the blast as she sees the Inkling girl standing there holding a splatter shot. Tracer then starts to unload her pulse pistols towards the Inkling, who turns into a squid and dodges the pulse shots as she swims through her ink. The Inkling jumps out of the ink puddle and flies through the air, holding out her ink minigun. She starts to rev up her minigun as Tracer blinks behind her and kicks her in the head, launching her to the ground of the rooftop, and then starts to unload her pulse pistols into the Inkling's back. Tracer lands as the Inkling stands back up, holding her charge rifle. The Inkling then takes aim and fires at Tracer, hitting her in the shoulder, causing her to stumble back. She then pulls out her splatter minigun and continues to fire into Tracer, causing her to be pushed back. As Tracer backs up, she trips and starts to fall off the rooftop in pain and severely injured as the Inkling jumps over and takes aim at Tracer's chrono accelerator. As she clicks the trigger, Tracer recalls behind the Inkling, causing the ink to completely miss Tracer as she tags her pulse bomb onto the Inkling's back, causing her to fall through the air. Tracer laughs as the bomb goes off, but when the smoke clears, the Inkling is fine as the bubble shield around her shatters. The Inkling then lands on the next roof over and pulls out a tablet as a large missile fires from her back and flies straight towards Tracer. She then looks up to see the missile coming crashing down towards her. Tracer blinks towards the Inkling and kicks the gun from her hand as she blinks into the air and grabs the gun and starts to fire at the Inkling as the missile crashes down and destroys the building she was on seconds ago. Tracer shoots the Inkling with her own gun multiple times as the Inkling turns into her squid and tries to run, but Tracer runs over and throws her pulse bomb onto the Inkling. The Inkling turns back to her human form and goes to activate her bubble shield, but Tracer shoots her ink tank, causing it to spill out. The Inkling's face then turns pale in fear as the bomb goes off, blowing her up, causing ink to splatter everywhere. Tracer blinks away, looking for anyone she knows. Alright, first off, big thank you to Butter Samurai for helping me out the Inkling. He did actually help out quite a bit with some of the arsenal and stuff, so big thanks to him. Now, our winner is Lena Oxton, aka Tracer. Let's start with stats. Tracer physically has wrestled Widowmaker, who survived a building-sized blast from the Doomfist Gauntlet. In very poor condition, that is. And her guns can hurt Reaper, who survived the destruction of the Overwatch HQ, and she has shown that she can survive a few shots from Reaper and physically take on Widowmaker. So physically, her strength and durability should be small building to building level, and her weapons should put her about building to large building level, thanks to scaling to Reaper. As for the Inkling, while her weapons can smash open wooden crates and redirect large metal rocket fists, and hell, she can even survive hits from these weapons, meaning the Inkling should be building level in strength and durability, possibly large building if we want to be incredibly generous, but more likely just standard building level. So these two are very close in strength and durability, but Tracer's slightly pulling ahead with, the power of her guns. So what about speed? Well, Tracer has dodged sniper fire, and she did manage to completely avoid all of Doomfist's attacks, and the only reason that Doomfist was able to grab her is because she became incredibly predictable. Now keep in mind, Doomfist did dodge lightning, and Tracer's dodged missiles before. So Tracer is massively hypersonic at her best, and at the very least a bullet timer. As for the Inkling girl, she is incredibly fast in her squid form, as the human form only has ink dodging feats. While it's not that impressive, it's still the best feat for speed they really have. Like I said, the Inkling girl is pretty vulnerable if she's not in her own ink. And again, I did say that she did dodge her own ink weapons, so to be fair and nice, let's say that's a subsonic feat. Basically, Tracer can blitz the Inkling girl and take her out super easily in this fight and very much completely destroy her. She's faster, stronger, and more durable. And while yes, the Inkling has a bigger arsenal, it's not enough to close the gap in stats that Tracer holds over her. Looks like Tracer took this win in the blink of an eye. Our winner is Tracer.
I've got this rage inside of me that I just can't wait to unleash. I'm invincible, I'm unstoppable, I'm a lion, call me tamed, I'm a cannibal. Indestructible, undeniable, I'm a man with a plan, understand.
First of all, let me thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share this to any friends you know who like versus debates. And, tell me what you think of the next match. Give me your predictions, maybe suggest matches in the comments, and they might happen.